there, criminal? It's me, Johnny Law.
Oh, man. All the orange soda spilled out of my cereal.
Adult parties? Sergeant, I believe they're called orgies. No look 5. Nothing to see here. Except for the bone sticking out of the leg. The harder the solve, the sweeter the solve.
Excuse me. Hi. I'm Jake Peralta.
When's the last time you had a carrot?
Well, it's my least favorite type of cake, so rarely. If you hadn't tricked me into getting car insurance, I wouldn't be in debt.
I came into this show expecting to find the show good, but overall, to be honest, I was completely wrong. I came out after watching 6 seasons totally in love with the whole show. I love the characters, I love the stories, I love the comedy, I love absolutely everything you possibly can about the show. After only watching the show for a week and binging the show up until season 6, I can say this has become my favorite show ever, and that is something really hard to accomplish. The first character I'd like to start off with is going to be Charles Boyle.
Charles, I thought you were sterile. I distinctly remember you using the phrase
shooting dust.
Yes, thank you for not making me say it.
Yeah, it's true. I lost the ability to procreate after the accident.
Drop the weapon!
Boyle is the best friend to Jake Peralta and is definitely the biggest Peraltiago shipper besides the fans. The character of Boyle literally has no toxic masculinity whatsoever, and over the past 6 seasons on this show, I'm pretty sure we've never seen Boyle be a bit toxic in any way. Boyle also has no filter when it comes to whatever he is saying. A perfect example of this is when he's going to be around Jake and Amy when they're getting married. Amy says to Boyle, "Is there any way I can repay you?" And Boyle responds with,
Get pregnant.
which just shows that Boyle has literally no filter over what he is saying. He is easily the most lovable and softest character in the TV show, and that is what makes him so different from every other character. The toughest character in my opinion on the show is going to be Rosa Diaz.
Oh my god, it's so much worse than I imagined!
She's easily one of the most badass women on TV history, from her bravery to go into combat and courage to stand out to everyone else and make them afraid of her. She is probably my second least favorite member of the squad. Nevertheless, I still enjoy her character. Rosa Diaz is the squad member that scares everyone, and she's easily the most terrifying person on the TV show. Terry Jeffords is unique in the sense that he is a friend to every member of the squad while also being the squad's manager and trying to keep them in check. When going out to parties, he is way more of an adult type character to the rest of the squad.
Adult parties? Sergeant, I believe they're called orgies. No look 5.
I met my wife at an orgy. Well, she was leaving an orgy and we bumped into each other on the street. Real meet cute.
Thank you for exhibiting exactly why this meeting is necessary.
Terry in a sense is like the mom of the group, and in the clip I played earlier just shows my point exactly, him trying to always be there for the squad no matter what and always putting them before himself. I don't really have much to say for Terry other than he's an amazing sergeant and that he brings something unique with his love of yogurt and talking about himself in the third person. My least favorite character on the show is Gina Linetti.
Hi, Gina Linetti, the human form of the 100 emoji.
I don't really think she's a bad character, but she doesn't really click with me. Gina stands out by just simply not really caring for anyone other than herself. While she has perfect interactions with all the members of the squad, she often gives off vibes that she doesn't really care for any of them, which makes her unique, as she is the only character who is like this. The most uptight character has to be Amy Santiago.
What? Nothing. I'm gonna go over to there now.
She is unique in the sense that she's easily the suck up, and what I mean by this is she's basically the teacher's pet of the precinct. What I love about her character is that she's able to have banter with Jake and all of the other members of the squad while also being serious. And the character that is probably my favorite next to Captain Holt is going to be Jake Peralta.
Can you magically make everyone kind, sober, and fully dressed?
Kind, sober, and fully dressed. Good news, everyone. We found the name of Santiago's sex tape.
Jake is an all-around funny character that cracks up jokes whenever. Jokes like the sex tape ones, Halloween episodes, having fun with all the Doug Judy, all of those kind of things are just relating to Jake having fun and just being funny in general. Jake is also one of the best detectives on the show, as shown in episode 14 in season 5 called The Box. In this episode, Jake uses his skills as a detective to get a confession from a criminal who had the perfect crime by saying that his crime wasn't perfect. Captain Holt is arguably the best character on the show, from him being serious to him joking around with Jake and all of the other squad members.
You know me. I see a pair of thick, weighty breasts, and all logic flies out the window.
Captain Holt has shown over the past 6 seasons that he can be funny, serious, and a lot of other things. Captain Holt making jokes is often out of his character, and he's a very serious person, but when he makes a joke, his delivery is amazing. Captain Holt's friends and husband think he's the funniest person in the world whenever he makes a joke, and that just isn't true.
No, I said millimeters.
In the clip you can see that the joke Captain Holt says isn't funny and his friends and husband are laughing along to it. There is mainly two topics that Brooklyn Nine-Nine covers. There's romance as well, which isn't really as dominant in my opinion compared to the other two. One of the topics I feel that is dominant is going to be the comedy of the show. The comedy overall is amazing and is unmatched in my opinion.
Ooh, got a little bit of a whoopsie here, Greg. The fun zone way to spell prizes is with a Z at the end.
Okay, 2 Z's and prizes. Well, that's fine. I don't mind misspelling simple words.
And I'm gonna need you to flip that E around backwards, and then just give me a random assortment of upper and lowercase letters.
What next? An actual slap in the face?
You could argue that The Office is better, and yes, you're entitled to your opinion, but I do believe that Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a better show for comedy. If you look at the cold opens for both of the shows, you can see that the cold opens for Brooklyn Nine-Nine can be funny for everyone, and you don't have to follow the show in order to get them and understand them. Whereas for The Office, I personally don't find the jokes way too funny, but sometimes you have to watch the show in order to get the jokes, which can be annoying for a normal person just coming across and wanting to have a good laugh watching a TV show.
Amy Santiago is a few minutes late, and we're all trying to guess why.
I like to play. I'd say she's in line at the bank. This is fun.
It is fun, but you're all wrong. She clearly slipped through a subway grate and is having terrible sex with a mole man. There she is, Amy. Where have you been? We've been worried sick. Do you care to explain yourself?
I'm just 70 seconds late. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it.
Santiago, you will tell us, and you will tell us now.
There's a problem at the bank.
Hot damn!
So, assessing the situation, are they breathing?
No, Rose. They are not breathing. And they have no arms or legs.
No, that's not part of it.
Where are they? You know what? If we come across somebody with no arms or legs, do we bother resuscitating them? I mean, what kind of quality of life do we have there?
I would want to live with no legs.
How about no arms? No arms or legs is basically how you exist right now, Kevin. You don't do anything.
The comedy inside the show in general, not including the cold opens, is also done very well. You sometimes have long pauses between jokes which turn out very well.
Hey there, Boyle. How was your weekend?
Well, actually I got a little sick.
Oh, really? Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, Bullets Over Broadway was on TV. I came down with a big old Diane Weist infection. Like yeast?
You have all the Halloween episodes which are done very well for comedy.
Amy, will you please do the honors?
The belt is in place.
Whoever has it at midnight will be declared
What's going on? What's happening?
I can't see. Everybody just grab something random.
Back off, Hitchcock.
Silence! It's gone. The cummerbund is gone.
Who took it? We're all here. Where'd it go?
Nowhere. It's still in this room. In fact, it's right here. Nope. It's just your tum-tum.
I don't have the cummerbund because it's right here.
Or is it right here?
Then you have the episodes where Doug Judy shows up, and it's amazing to see the interactions between Jake Peralta and Doug Judy.
ESU won't take your deal. They think you're lying.
I'm not lying. I don't want to be a criminal. I love my life as an average citizen. I voted for the first time this year. Ed Breakfast for school board.
Who?
I don't know. He had a funny name. He deserves a shot.
That's why I voted for Stacey Ladle. Anyways, I'm sorry, but they're not cutting a deal.
So that's it? I got to turn myself in and let Holloway kill my mama?
Actually, there might be another way to get this done.
I'm taking your negotiator hostage. If you come in here, I will shoot him.
Just do whatever he says. My life is in his hands. That was so much fun. Oh, man, you sounded really scary.
No. It was all you. The tremble in your voice told it.
Just do whatever he wants. I just made that up. Oh, I was so in the moment.
Dude, seriously? You are a great hostage.
Thanks, Judy. You're a great hostage taker. What? Yes, sir.
I personally don't think any other show is nearly as funny as Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The crime on the show is done very well. I think the crimes that are committed are very realistic and could happen in day-to-day life.
How about I get a jump on our new partners and search the perp's apartment?
Right. We'll get some clues, solve the case, make them look like fools they can eat our American dust.
No. Soren is probably allergic to dust.
Oh, hello. Yes, I am allergic to dust.
Everyone is. That's what sneezes are.
You're what sneezes are.
Okay. What are you guys doing here?
Oh, in Sweden, we call it police work. Perhaps you don't have a word for it?
I hate you.
This is our case. You can't work it without us. Get your weird hairless fingers off of it.
Soren shaves his fingers for cycling. It cuts down on drag.
Agneta's my biggest fanatic, just as I'm a fanatic of her slam poetry. Would you like to hear some?
Would I like to? I would hate to.
Your loss. Well, we've already searched the entire apartment.
Yeah, well now we're gonna search it and find things you all missed, like this.
Your own keys?
Damn straight. Bag 'em, Diaz.
What I think also helps with all of the crime is the comedy which leads into it, and it has a perfect balance between comedy and seriousness. Another thing I love about the crime is that it could have massive consequences to the characters. One example of this is going to be that Rosa Diaz and Jake Peralta are framed for robbing a bank.
Just this morning, my team uncovered 2 accounts from the Cayman Islands controlled by Diaz and Peralta containing $26 million between them.
It's okay. She has no proof.
These are the original applications for the accounts signed by Diaz and Peralta. This is the affidavit from the bank manager identifying them as the owners of the account, and these are the deposit slips for the entire amount.
Oh no, Rosa, we don't have any more prongs. We're prongless.
Oh, and one more thing. They're guilty.
No, we are not.
This allows the crime to flow into different episodes, which builds up more tension as the time goes on. Romance isn't one of the main topics of the show, but it is still there. In my opinion, we should get a lot more of Jake and Amy being a couple, and I'm quite happy that they get together and they haven't had a toxic relationship like what happens to a lot of main protagonists in TV shows and movies. There really isn't that much to say for the romance in this show other than I would love to see a lot more of it in the future seasons. Throughout the show we've seen characters such as Jake Peralta, Charles Boyle, Terry Jeffords and Captain Holt cry. An example of Jake Peralta crying would be the time at his wedding.
But I do have some bad news. There is a bomb at this wedding as well.
What?
Your butt. Your butt is the bomb. There will be no survivors.
I love you so much. You're my dream girl.
An example of Captain Holt crying is when Rose and him were discussing Marcus.
Marcus, I think we should break up.
That makes me feel sad. I'm sad.
Your sadness is noted.
I feel acknowledged. Thank you for breaking up with me. It will take me 8 minutes to collect my things. I think that went very well.
An example of Terry crying is when he was talking to a prisoner as a means of seeing his daughter.
I'm gonna miss the birth of my child. It's a magical moment. Okay. I'll tell you everything. Thank you for letting me be part of this wonderful experience. You're a terrible person, but you're welcome.
An example of Boyle crying is when the precinct is about to be shut down. You can see both Boyle and Jake in a car on a stakeout holding up binoculars to hide that they're crying.
Still 0.1524 kilometers away.
Wait, are you just holding up the binoculars so I can't see you cry?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Come to think of it, I'm gonna double check our building distance as well.
See anything?
This is a great way of showing that men can also cry, and it gets rid of the stereotype that men aren't allowed to show emotions, which they definitely are allowed to show. The women on this show are obviously badasses in their own way. Diaz and Santiago are 2 members of the squad, and without them, the squad wouldn't be the same as it once was. I think Diaz and Santiago are 2 of the best fighters that are on the show, and they aren't matched. Amy Santiago has shown multiple times that she's able to take care of herself on the field and while she's at her desk, and the same could be said for Rosa.
Hey, someone robbed a bodega on 4th Street. It's the 5th one this week.
It's so sad that someone's targeting bodegas. They're part of the fabric of New York.
You shop at them a lot?
No, they overcharge for everything, and they sell rat poison right next to the bananas.
Yeah, they're gross. I hope they never change. Anyway, Holt wants us to interview some of the bodega owners and figure out where to assign additional uniformed officers.
On the show, we have 2 main characters who are part of the LGBTQ community who are also part of Brooklyn's 99th precinct. Those 2 characters are Captain Raymond Holt, who's gay, and then we have Rosa Diaz, who's bisexual. We also have Kevin, who is Captain Raymond Holt's husband, and we have seen appearances throughout the series where he's never really been a major character, but more so kind of like a love interest to Captain Holt. One of my favorite things from the show is how they're able to handle everything relating to the LGBTQ community, regarding as to how characters come out in a certain sexuality and how it comes up in a story in a really great way. The camera work used in Brooklyn Nine-Nine is used in such a wonderful way. There's a cold open that I mentioned earlier and I showed a clip. I'm going to play that clip again to show you the camera work and see how it looks.
Hey there, Boyle. How was your weekend?
Well, actually, I got a little sick.
Oh, really? Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, Bullets Over Broadway was on TV. I came down with a big old Diane Weist infection. Like yeast!
As you can see in the clip, the camera keeps cutting to Jake and Boyle and zooming in on their faces while it's building up tension for the joke to be over. In this scene I was dying laughing at the fact that the joke had kept going and also the fact that the camera work had made it so funny. For season 6, I'm not entirely sure if the camera work did change too much. I know for the previous 5 seasons there was a shaky cam, which just means it feels like someone is following the characters on foot, making you feel closer to them. One person I saw said that season 6 felt like The Office over the shaky cam not being there, which if I'm being honest, I'm not really a massive fan of. I don't want Brooklyn Nine-Nine to turn into The Office in any way possible. One of the main things I love about Brooklyn Nine-Nine is how they've managed to make every single character so different from each other. I never thought over watching a TV show that I'd be so invested into all of the characters and their stories. I feel amazed at how Fox was able to create such a great show and keep up with the quality over the time, and for NBC with season 6, I don't really blame them for any problems that happened during this season, as it was their first time doing a season for Brooklyn Nine-Nine and they had to find their footing. I hope for season 7 that NBC doesn't change up the camera work anymore, as I want the show to stay as close as possible to the time it was on Fox. I get that NBC want to have their own thing for the show, but I feel like it just interrupts the whole flow of the show. For the men and women, I am very happy that the show has portrayed them in the way that they have. We've seen male characters cry, female characters do incredible things like busting criminals for murders, drugs, and a lot more. I am hoping for season 7 that NBC try out different camera effects and styles to change up the dynamic of the show in a fresh way, while also trying to stick to the same format as they've had for the first 6 seasons. I am very excited to see what the future holds for the LGBTQ characters on the show and to find out if we'll be getting any more characters that are a part of that community. And for the comedy, I hope they don't change up the comedy style in any way, as I do believe that it is honestly perfect the way it is. This has been my video going over why Brooklyn Nine-Nine is the best TV show that is airing right now. I want to thank everyone who's clicked on the video and who has watched the video for either 1 second or up until this part. It means a lot to me that everyone has given up their time to watch something I've put a good amount of time into. I might start doing more videos like this in the future, so if you did enjoy the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave a like and comment down below if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos. I would also like to ask everyone, what is your favorite season from the show?